Hey yo, what's up guys? John Boogle here. I asked my Discord members to pick the best animes of all time. I then took their submissions, put it in a bracket, and this is what we got. Let's see how this madness bracket goes down. Alright, welcome to Absolute Disaster, because that's what it's about to be. So this time we got a full 32 brackets here, 16 on each side. Let's first quickly go through all the submissions that made it into the bracket, and then we'll enter into round one. So the first submission was, of course, One Piece, and then the very next submission was High School DxD. Then we had Kill la Kill, Evangelion, Gintama, Clannad, DBZ, Land of the Lustrous, JJK, Machikado Mazuku, oh brother, The Misfits of Demon Academy, Made in Abyss, Heavenly Delusion, Spy Fam 86, ReZero, Spirited Away, Redline, the Monogatari series, Code Geass, JoJo's, Bocchi the Rock, Mushoku Tensei, Grand Blue, Snafu, Vinland Saga, Hunter x Hunter, Samurai Champloo, Steins Gate, Your Lie in April, Your Name, and finally Three Gatsu no Lion. So those were all the submissions that made it in, and then I put it in a bracket, randomized, and of course, this is what we got. So a lot of interesting matchups for round one here. The one that immediately caught my eye was in the top right. A very rough starting matchup there. Vinland Saga against Steins Gate. I think two of the best animes on this bracket, period. Both deserving of the win. Unfortunate they're faced off in the first round there. So from here on out, the Discord members got to vote which anime proceeds forward into the next round. And having watched like 95% of the animes here, let's just say might be a disaster. Since round one is so massive, we're going to split it into 4 parts. But for the first part or division, we're going to look at the top left of the brackets here. So first we had JoJo's against EVA, and very surprisingly, EVA won in the votes. So JoJo's gets eliminated and EVA moves on into the next round. Next up we have JJK against Snafu. Another very surprising one because I was fully expecting JJK to sweep this one, but Snafu comes out on top. So JJK gets eliminated and Snafu moves on into the next round. Next up we had Three Gatsu against One Piece. And Three Gatsu being not that popular here, I was expecting One Piece to take it just by popularity, but it seems some of the Boogle Court members know just how much of a masterpiece Three Gatsu is. So One Piece gets eliminated and Three Gatsu moves on into the next round. And for the last matchup of Division 1 in round 1, we had Hunter x Hunter against Made in Abyss. Could have seen this go either way, but the votes heavily leaned towards Hunter x Hunter. So Made in Abyss gets eliminated and Hunter x Hunter moves on into the next round. And here's our bracket after Division 1 of round 1. Let's move on into the next division here. And the first matchup here we got is Clannad After Story against Samurai Champloo. And by no surprise here, Clannad is here for the win with almost a full sweep. So Samurai Champloo gets eliminated and Clannad moves on into the next round. Next up we have 86 against Machikado Mazuku. And I haven't watched the other anime here, but I was expecting 86 to win this one anyways, and it did just that in the votes, which means Machikado Mazuku gets eliminated and 86 moves on into the next round. Next up we have Akame ga Kill against Monogatari, and let's just say Monogatari definitely one of the favorites to win this entire bracket, and it is deserving of the win as well. So by no surprise, Monogatari series wins here in the votes, which means Akame ga Kill gets eliminated and Monogatari moves on into the next round. And for the last matchup of Division 2 of round 1, we have Redline against ReZero. By no surprise here, ReZero is able to take the votes as one of the isekai goats, which means Redline gets eliminated and ReZero moves on into the next round. And Division 2 in round 1 is over. Here is what our bracket looks like. Let's now move on into Division 3 for round 1. And this is the one with one of the toughest first round matchups. Speaking of, it is Vinland Saga against Steins Gate, two animes that are worthy to win it all in this entire bracket. And the votes was pretty close as well, but in the end, Vinland Saga was able to edge it out. Now, if we weren't counting Season 2, I could see this being pretty even, and I probably would have voted Steins Gate, but with Season 2 of Vinland Saga anime, I think it is definitely one of the best on this entire bracket. But unfortunately, Steins Gate gets eliminated, which means Vinland Saga moves on into the next round. Next matchup, we had Your Name against DBZ. talk about a normie matchup here. Could have seen this one going either way, but whether you like it or not, DBZ is a classic legendary anime, so it is winning in the votes here. So your name gets eliminated and DBZ moves on into the next round. Next up we had Spy Fam against Spirited Away, and I honestly didn't know how this would go. One's a classic Studio Ghibli film and the other is a new gen hyped up anime, but a pleasant surprise was Spirited Away taking a lot of votes here and winning. So Spy Fam gets eliminated and Spirited Away moves on into the next round. And for our last matchup here of Division 3, we have Bocchi the Rock against DXD. Also could have seen this go either way as well, but this time voters decided not to troll too hard and Bocchi the Rock took most of the votes here, which means High School DxD gets eliminated and Bocchi the Rock moves on into the next round. And moving on into the final division of round 1, here's what our bracket looks like. Our first matchup for Division 4 of round 1, we have Your Lie in April against Mushoku Tensei, and the votes here had Mushoku Tensei winning, which means Your Lie in April gets eliminated and Mushoku Tensei moves on into the next round. Next up we had Land of the Lustrous against Misfits of Demon Academy. By no surprise here, Land of the Lustrous is able to win. Wait, what? Okay, I guess Misfits of Demon Academy wins this one in the votes, which means Land of the Lustrous gets eliminated and Misfits of Demon Academy moves on into the next round. Next up we had Code Geass against Grand Blue. Could have seen this go either way here, but everyone decided to go for the classic here and a full sweep. So Grand Blue gets eliminated and Code Geass moves on into the next round. And for the very last matchup of round 1, we had Gintama against Heavenly Delusion. Unfortunate for the new kid on the block here, but Gintama is an absolute classic and it looks like the voters mostly agreed as well, which means Heavenly Delusion gets eliminated and Gintama moves on into the next round. And here's a look at the bracket after round 1. Some interesting advancements, some upsets as well. The main ideal pick here definitely would have been JoJo's over Evangelion, but the rest seems quite okay except for yeah, that one. Alright, round 2, let's begin here. We'll start with the left side first here, and our first matchup is Snafu against EVA, and the voters decided to go for EVA on this one, which means Snafu gets eliminated and EVA moves on into the next round. Next up we have Trigatsu no Line against Hunter x Hunter, and I could probably say this was to be expected, with Hunter x Hunter taking a lot of the votes here. My pick definitely would have been Trigatsu though, but that means unfortunately Trigatsu gets eliminated and Hunter x Hunter moves on into the next round. Our next matchup here is Clannad against 86, and Clannad being one of the favorites to win, a deserving favorite, it is of course going to win in the votes here, which means 86 gets eliminated and Clannad after story moves on into the next round. And the last matchup on the left side here is Monogatari against ReZero. Could have seen this go either way because a lot of people jump on that ReZero GOAT train, and it is one of the best isekais out there, if not just straight up the best. However, Monogatari is Monogatari, and it seems like the voters agreed here as well, which means ReZero gets eliminated and Monogatari moves on into the next round. Here's a look at the bracket after the first half of round 2. Let's move on into the second half. Our first matchup here is Vinland Saga against DBZ, and this one was actually very close in the votes, but Vinland Saga is able to pull through here, which means DBZ gets eliminated and Vinland Saga moves on into the next round. Next up we had Spirited Away against Bocchi the Rock, and I could have seen this go either way, but with the hype Bocchi the Rock has, I did kind of expect it to win here in the votes, but to my surprise, people actually did vote for Spirited Away over Bocchi the Rock. Just goes to show that the memes are just not enough sometimes in the face of a classic. So Bocchi the Rock gets eliminated and Spirited Away moves on into the next round. Next up we had Mushoku Tensei against Misfits of Demon Academy, and man, if Misfits is able to win another round, I might crash out here against one of the isekai goats as well. And thankfully, the voters decided not to troll this time, which means Misfits of Demon Academy finally gets eliminated and Mushoku Tensei moves on into the next round. And our final matchup for round 2 is Code Geass against Gintama. Honestly, could have seen this go either way as well. Both have some peak anime moments, and with only a 3-vote difference, Gintama is able to pull through, which means Code Geass gets eliminated and Gintama moves on into the next round. And that concludes round 2. here is the bracket so far. Some very tough matchups going on into round 3. Let's see what happens.
Yay!
Alright, round 3, let's begin. Our first matchup of the round here is EVA against Hunter x Hunter, and this is where I started to notice a pattern of people voting for EVA just because it was a collab in Battle Cats, which is an absolute tragedy. And the rat campaign continued here as EVA got voted here, which means Hunter x Hunter gets eliminated and EVA moves on into the next round. Next up, we had a super tough matchup here with Clannad After Story against Monogatari. Both of these enemies deserving to win it all, but here they are matched up against each other. It was real sad to see, but one of these animes had to get eliminated, and the voters went with the Monogatari series, which means very sadly Clannad After Story gets eliminated and Monogatari moves on into the next round. Next up, we have Vinland Saga against Spirited Away. Also a pretty tough matchup here where you have one of the seinen goats and one of the classic Ghibli films. It was pretty close, but the voters decided to go for Vinland Saga here. My pick would have been Vinland Saga as well, which means Spirited Away unfortunately gets eliminated and Vinland Saga moves on into the next round. And our last matchup for round 3 here is Mushoku Tensei against Gintama. Honestly, did not know where this would go, and the voters mostly picked Gintama for this one, which means Mushoku Tensei gets eliminated and Gintama moves on into the next round. Here's a look at the bracket after round 3, almost in the final matchup. There's no way a tragedy could happen here, right? Right? Oh man, round 4. Only 4 animes are left in the madness brackets here. Whoever wins in the votes in these rounds will move on into the finals. Oh man, here we go. Our first matchup of round 4 here is EVA against Monogatari, and Monogatari should sweep this, right? Right? Well, we forgot one big thing. The rat campaign. Yes, of course, the battle ratters gathered together to vote for EVA, and very tragically, the Monogatari series gets eliminated and EVA moves on into the final round. For the other matchup of round 4, we had Vinland Saga against Gintama, and I honestly could have seen this go either way. We had one of the seinen goats against one of the shonen goats. In the end, it was pretty close, but Vinland Saga was able to edge it out, which means sadly Gintama gets eliminated and Vinland Saga moves on into the next round. Oh man, and it is going to be time for the finals. Here is the bracket after round 4. Our finals matchup is set. Who will win? I think you might unfortunately know the answer if you have been following along. Let's move on into the final round. So up to this point, we've had many great animes in the running, all going head to head with only the voters deciding which anime gets to move forward. Now in the end, we're left here with 2 animes left facing off in the final round, and that is Evangelion against Vinland Saga. Now the easy pick for me here is Vinland Saga, pretty easily, even if we don't count season 2, but with season 2 in there, it is a complete sweep. But of course, this is not my madness bracket. This is Boogle Chord's madness bracket. Let's see what the voters decided to pick. And in the end, for the final poll of the Boogle Chord madness bracket, EVA won in the votes against Vinland Saga, which means very tragically Vinland Saga gets eliminated and Evangelion wins the Boogle Chord Madness bracket. But there was the final round, Boogle Chord Madness bracket anime edition, Evangelion winning this one. Of how much of that was due to battle rats, you can decide for yourself, or you could just blame Skull. But yeah, let me know down below what your picks would have been in this bracket. Who would your ideal winner of the entire bracket be? And what are your favorite animes out of this bracket, or some that didn't make it on the bracket? Let me know down below. We will be back soon for another madness bracket eventually. If you want to take part in the next one, you could just come join the Discord. But yeah, that's it. It's been John Boogle, and see you. Curse the battle ratters.